Hello, this is Richard Hobbs, Pastor Reverend Right Richard Hobbs, or the Right Reverend Richard Hobbs of N. Dios Church. And this is copyrighted November 17th, 2018 by ndioschurch@gmail.com and or richardpaulhobbs@gmail.com on Saturday morning. And I have succeeded in getting this griddle ready to use. I did everything according to the instructions, and now I noticed, before I've used it, that there's a crack here. I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a crack right here in the plastic of this, the handle. So if I hadn't gotten it, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm in a wheelchair, I'm handicapped, I've had it for a long time, but I haven't used it. I just opened it up today. And that's a defect, and it's in it before I began to use it. Now I'm gonna put it up just below 400 degrees, because maybe pancakes cook well at 400 degrees, or they can cook between 350 and 400, depending how you want them to come out. And it depends on lots of things, like how accurate that thermostat on that is. And I had to season it with vegetable oil, and the only vegetable oil I could season with was this vegetable oil, which is sunflower oil, because it's really the only oil I have here, the highest temperatured oil I have. So now I'm going to start to make pancakes. We'll leave this on for a minute or two and let it sit here. I can't set it up there's no way I can do this, that I can handle it and also hold the phone in a way where you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to try. Once it gets to 400, once it starts to wiggle on and off, red and black, at near 400, I'm gonna, well, that's good enough. Now I'm gonna have it to 400. Unfortunately, the first pancakes I make are gonna be affected. And this sunflower oil doesn't do well over 280 degrees, and it starts to burn. But so let's see what happens. And I've mixed a very, very good, very healthy, almost very healthy pancake batter here, and it has a lot of sour cream in it and other things. It has a buttermilk. I'm going to try to make 2 large pancakes, the kind that you would get in a place like IHOP or Denny's. And I'm going to see how they come out. This may be too thick, and I may not be able to produce them here on this griddle. I'm going to make 3 and see what happens. And they're going to be kind of half-fried version of pancakes. So they're not real thick, they're not real wide the way I really want them to be. But they're a good way to start this. And here you see 3 I gotta stand up to do this. And I can't stand up. I'm not supposed to stand up. Here are 3 pancakes, not as quite. I can tell that they're burning, so 400 is too hot to make them on this griddle. But the idea is to try and get them slightly brown, slightly black, because when that happens, the sugars in the flour and the other products are caramelizing, and that gives flavor to foods. I love baked things. I like baked things that are caramelized, that where they've turned in. And what's happening is it's too hot, and it's cooking. It's burning at the bottom. It's taking longer for it to cook in the middle. And the trouble is, there's not a lot of difference between 350 here and 4. It's a very small dial, and when I've been using the induction burner and that frying pan, that's no good. But you see, I can't do this without falling, so I mustn't do it. But I can't. This dial, if it's 400 or it's 350, is so close, and I can't turn these until they get bubbly all over. Really, when you make a pancake, it should cook almost all the way through when it's first laid down, and then it should be solid and it should flip. Now, I'm not following the directions on the box here, and perhaps tomorrow or some other day I will, just exactly the way it is, to see how they come out. But I just bought this Crusto because I got $1 off on it. But I should have bought the organic, or the kind that doesn't have enriched flour in it. I don't use enriched flour. But you see, because of the sour cream, these are coming out nice and fluffy. And because the mix is supposed to be about a buttermilk mix, powdered buttermilk mix, you're only supposed to put water in there. But that's not going to give me the kind of pancake I want. This is the kind of pancake I want, that it's thick and it's fluffy. So if I would have made 2 larger ones, one here and one here, that are a lot like what we get in Denny's or in another place where they're cooking it on a griddle, on a grill, and it's a flat surface, and they may not have it at 400 degrees, but the conditions under which they make it allow them to cook it right and cook it well. And but they probably use aluminum in it to raise it. I don't want to use aluminum to raise my pancakes, because aluminum is poison, and it may have something to do with creating Alzheimer's disease and other mental instabilities. Could be wrong about that, but you see, it's burning. And it did say on here that you shouldn't use metal. You see, they're too black on the bottom, because now I'm learning that on this pan and this griddle, 400 is too hot, and because I have oil on the griddle, it's getting that fried around the edge way that some pancakes come out. Now, unfortunately, I had to turn this too soon, so it's good, because then the other side cooks flat, is flat on the griddle. If you let it really bubble up the right way through, when you flip it, then it may not so this is difficult to control. The induction burner is really great because it's easy to control. So I have it around 350, and I hope that it'll cool down to 350, and I will try another 2 pancakes on that temperature and see what happens. There's two ways to cook. The best way is to use lower temperatures and cook things for a long time. That's the best way to cook. The worst way is to cook at high temperatures and do them shortly. Two reasons. One, because cooking food at high temperatures helps increase the likelihood you'll get cancer from eating that food immediately as soon as you eat it. Because cooking food on a griddle or a frying pan can cause heterocyclic amines to be formed on the surface of the food. As far as I know, that's true. And apparently, mostly on ground beef and on other meats. But I don't know to what extent it happens with pancakes. There are eggs in here, and so that might be causing the heterocyclic amines to form. There's sour cream, which and I don't know. I'm not an absolute expert in anything, but I do know, because now you see what's happening here is, oh well, that's good. That's good. I had to raise it back up to 200, but you see how that one is? It's cooked here, but not here, because, well, I know why. I don't know if I can explain it to you. This one is overdone, not overdone, but it's more black than these are. So, but it wasn't cooking until I put it up to 400. Now this one's never going to be cooked correctly right there. It's not going to happen. Now what I've got to do is take this out of the plate, and I've got a problem I was having with the frying pan is that when I go to pick stuff up on it,